Hey everyone, Jamie here. Oh my gosh, I just woke up so excited to, I don't know, share more with you guys. I thought it was really useful because, first of all, I hope this isn't all over the place, but I wanted to share that I was so inspired by total synchronicities by this, and this, what I'm saying has a point. The synchronicities that came together for me to start this channel were just so, like, there's no other way to describe it other than to say divine orchestration and the just beautiful synchronicities that had to happen and the random circumstances and the serendipitous moments. It's just crazy. Anyways, by complete, right, so someone would say total coincidence, totally random. I don't think so. No, divine orchestration based on what my deepest desires are and my passions and my purpose. So it's not random or crazy at all. I happened upon this other creator's called Neville Goddess, who I just resonated so quickly. And it was just so funny because she looks like me and she's into the same stuff I'm into. And she showed up so authentically herself and just as herself. Like there weren't any special circumstances. There weren't any expensive microphones. There wasn't this intense professional setup. It was just her talking to her cell phone, sharing her wisdom. And now her wisdom, so her handle is Neville Goddess, obviously from Neville Goddard. And I thought it was interesting because I was like, that's so interesting. She has a totally different origin story than I do. And what I mean by that is I watched The Secret. And what's interesting was I was already on path, sort of, but also really missing key pieces to the puzzle of living an intentional life. For example, I had never, to my knowledge, heard anyone say you can create what you want, you can manifest what you want. The idea of manifestation was brand new to me. Now, I had already graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology. I already had a master's degree in industrial organizational psychology. I had already been running an HR department. I had already been running a corporate education department. I already cared deeply about personal growth, but everything I knew about it was from this corporate lens or from just like a traditional, I don't know how else to put it, but just like a Stephen Covey, you know what I'm saying? Like a Stephen Covey, Dale Carnegie personal development lens. I did not know anything about sort of like the woo-woo side of things or universal principles. There was no element of spirituality in my origin story. Or what I mean is, up until that point, there was no sort of spiritual aspect to any of that. It was just mindset, time management, personal development, like just very cookie cutter, corporate, who moved my cheese, like that. That's a book, by the way. That was my starting point. So, okay, and I'm sorry, like, I just woke up and I just did my breath work, but I didn't, like, I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to hop on and talk. and share this because I can't go into all of it, but I was basically on a sabbatical. I was not accepting new coaching clients. I was working with my existing coaching clients. I wasn't growing my business. I wasn't trying to grow my business. I have been on pause. I've been like basically on sabbatical. And just because a series of things happened that really just took the wind out of my sails, and I was questioning, do I even want to be a part of this coaching industry anymore? There's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of bullshitters out there. There's so many holes that people aren't filling, and I hate the way there's so many things that other coaches do to build their business, to get clients, and I hate almost all of it. And so I had like a major like come to Jesus moment of like what am I even doing? Am I like am I complicit if I stay in this industry? Like are people gonna lump me together with all of them? And I just was questioning everything, and I took a step back, and I just fucking loved the shit out of my life. We had the most incredible, like, luxury, like, most expensive family Disney vacation that you can possibly imagine. As a child, my babysitter was obsessed with Disney, and she nurtured that obsession in all of us kids, and I just loved it so much that even when I was in college, I participated in their college program. And so I was at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge guest relations. I worked there. I just love Disney so much. And so as a parent, we took our kids when they were very young. I've been married for almost 21 years, over 20 years, almost 20 years. 20 years this year. And I truly believe that I manifested my soulmate. I got pregnant instantly the minute I wanted to be pregnant. I have two amazing kids, a boy and a girl, just what I wanted. Like, I have some crazy manifestation stories. We are literally living in the house of our dream. I literally had pages of requirements when we were looking for a house, and manifested this house and checked every fucking thing off that list. I mean, I have so many incredible manifestation stories, which is one of the reasons why I'm so eager to share this information out into the world, because I truly feel like my purpose in this world is to support, guide others to know that what you want is possible, right? I'm sorry about this shadow. It's driving me nuts. Okay, there we go. What you deeply desire not only is possible, but I genuinely believe that it's meant for you. I believe you are meant to connect with what you deeply desire, and in doing so, that it is going to set you on a path towards your purpose. I deeply, deeply believe that because I was this person. There was a period of time in my life where I was so discontent. I was absolutely on autopilot. I was barely surviving. I was definitely not thriving. And I was feeling like, what the fuck's the purpose? Like, who cares? I just didn't realize. And it all felt really like normal. Like, oh, this is how everybody is. Like, nobody's happy. I was very, very, very unhappy. And now I'm not. And life just keeps getting more and more amazing. And that's not to say that shit doesn't happen. Shit happens every day. But how I interact with the shit, how I manage the shit, how I process and release the shit, it's so quick and so much better and so much easier. And then I anchor back into all the good, and more good comes to me. And by the way, that shit serves us, because that shit is what Abraham Hicks calls the contrast of our life. The contrast that crap that happens helps us be clear on what we don't want so that we can be more clear about what we do want. And one of the biggest secrets of all is the importance of focusing on what you do want once you've figured out what you don't want. So many people get stuck in what they don't want, and they focus on what they don't want. They focus on all the crap, all the shit that's happening. Okay, I'm going off in a million different tangents here. So I stumbled upon Neville Goddess's, by the way, she's incredible, and her focus is really on, from what I can tell, I've watched about a couple dozen of her videos, and I just love it. What's funny was, okay, of course, just very superficially, the first thing I noticed, like, oh my gosh, she's my age. Oh my gosh, she's got brown, long hair just like I do. Oh my gosh, doesn't seem like she wears much makeup, kind of like me. Really stupid, superficial shit. But it was because I'm like, ooh, I love what she's saying. Oh, that's interesting. She's coming from like a Neville Goddard approach. I've been interested in Neville Goddard. Wayne Dyer's book, Wishes Fulfilled, was mostly my first introduction to Neville Goddard's work, but also my coach talks about it as as well. Okay, Neville Goddard, like my origin story really isn't Neville Goddard, so I've been enjoying it. And what's interesting and not so much interesting and not a coincidence at all, and totally what I manifested was earlier this year, I literally set an intention that I wanted to practice manifestation techniques from Neville Goddard. Of course I did. Now, I bet you're thinking, oh, so what did you do? Google Neville Goddard and that's how you found her? No, not at all. Not at all. I was on a community call for a manifestation community that I am part of, and a random dude who I don't know, who I've never heard of, who I've never spoken with before, on a call I've never attended, but just decided to attend, he said, yeah, I've been listening to this one person on YouTube called Neville Goddess. He said that, and it was like, bring, like, wait a minute, I think that was for me. So random that it couldn't be random. Obviously, I had set my intention, and this was the universe dropping her channel into my lap saying, hey, you wanted to be leveraging these techniques. This is someone who has mastered those techniques and you can learn from. I mean, the perfect divine timing of it all was just fucking magical. So I hop onto her channel, and of course, and so the universe is like, really, Jamie, get this. So of course, naturally, she looks just like me. She's my age. She's literally a Virgo, just like I am. Now, there's plenty that we don't have in common. She doesn't have kids. She's not married. She's a multimillionaire. I'm not a multimillionaire yet. Just things like that. But it's just so interesting. It was like the universe served her channel up to me on a platter. That was just, and I needed it for so many reasons. Mainly because I had been thinking about starting a YouTube channel. By the way, I have a different channel, but it's kind of like where all of my course content is stored. So it's like all locked down and private, and it's so random. It's, it's got like just me talking like this, but with less direction. And it's obviously me from a couple years ago. So I don't have the wisdom and experience that I've gained from the last couple years as well, from coaching more and more clients, etc. and just reading more and more books and just deepening my wisdom and knowledge around all things manifestation. Okay. So for anybody interested, my origin story is from the movie The Secret. Aside from, like I said, that corporate personal development lens that I had started with. Someone recommended the movie The Secret to me, and I remember thinking, what? The way they explain it to me, and I can't even tell you what it is that they said, but the way they explain it to me, I'm like, that sounds like a bad infomercial. So I didn't watch it for years. I did not watch it. It was like finally free on Amazon Prime. And I'm like, The Secret, that's that thing. That's that bad infomercial that my friend recommended to me all those years ago. I watched it. My jaw was on the floor. It 1000% resonated as truth for me. I was like, oh my God, this. And I sort of haven't looked back since. It was everything. It was what the missing pieces of my life. And like I said, I just watched it. I soaked it all in, and I was like, this. Like this. Yes, this. This all makes sense to me. This all resonates as truth for me. This feels like, it just feels like I struck gold. Like everything makes sense now. So from watching The Secret, naturally, as someone who's obsessed with personal development, as someone who is always like reaching for my greatest potential, as someone who gobbled it up, naturally, the first thing I did was I started binging Jack Canfield content. I started binging Mike Dooley content. And that brought me to like Hay House, which brought me Louise Hay and Wayne Dyer and somehow Abraham Hicks. Because by the way, when I watched The Secret, Esther Hicks and Abraham was not, they weren't in the movie The Secret. And what's so funny was I was always like, after a year or two of reading books and consuming content, and listen, I'm not even going to lie, I was at that stage of my life where I had no money, lots of student loans. And, there was like LimeWire and like other download sites like BitComet. And so I cannot even begin to tell you how many books and programs I just like downloaded, and I hate to say like without paying. But that was, listen, that's the honest truth about like where I started off. Not proud of that. Once you know better, you do better. And yeah, like once it clicked for me that I shouldn't be doing that, I stopped, honest to God. But yeah, but if it wasn't for those free resources, like I wouldn't be where I am now. I mean, I wouldn't know what I know. I wouldn't have helped like the hundreds and hundreds of people that I've helped. I wouldn't have had my coaching business. So I can't be mad about it. But that brought me to, so then eventually I'm like, gosh, why wasn't Esther Hicks in The Secret? Why wasn't Wayne Dyer in The Secret? And anyways, I learned about that. There's like a whole scandalous story for another video. But the bottom line is, that's my origin story when it comes to manifestation. It was law of attraction. It was The Secret. It was the people in The Secret, like Mike Dooley and Jack Canfield. And I went on to actually be part of Jack Canfield's team. I actually was the team lead for one of his live events, and I volunteered for many. And I was on his assisting team for several of his live events. So like I went deep into like sort of like the Jack Canfield branch, and but still remained curious and sort of obsessed and very passionate about, like, I mean, my coach, my law of attraction coach, she introduced me to like another branch, like more and more spiritual, more and more woo-woo kind of things. Um, like Greg Braden and like Lynn Taggart and, both the woo-woo side and the scientific side. Like I've always just been in the middle. I've always taken this hybrid approach. I've always appreciated it. I sort of appreciate any explanation. I appreciate both the science that has been done, the quantum physics side of things, and I deeply appreciate the spiritual explanations and the spiritual side of things as well. And so that's what you're going to get from me. You might hear me talking about neuroscience and, you know, Neville Goddard and Abraham Hicks, and who Abraham Hicks is, if you don't already know. Esther Hicks channels Abraham, or Bashar, or like I'm trying to think, just like again, like, and I love that. I love that about me. I love that about my coaching. I love that about my perspective. I love that my perspective is so diverse, and it's just this melting pot of so many different authors and so many different perspectives. And it's like the whole spectrum. So if that's what you're looking for, that is what you're going to get on this channel. Of course, I'm going to talk about the fact that I'm a coach. Of course, I'm going to talk about the fact that I wrote a children's book, How to Wish Upon a Star, and Jack Canfield endorsed it because he's awesome like that. I also like to think it's because my book is awesome, but that's a children's book that I wrote that I never talk about, and I kind of forget that I did it. Totally manifested that, and totally manifested Jack's endorsement of it as well. And I have my aligned planner, which is like literally my freaking fifth child, if you will. And yes, I just referred to it as my fifth child, as if my dog and my cat were third and fourth children. Listen, it is what it is. All right. I guess I just wanted to share a little bit about how I came to be the way that I am and why I talk about it the way that I do, and sort of what my influences have been. And so welcome if you found me and this is resonating for you or interesting for you, and you're interested in learning more about actually effectively manifesting things into your life. If you're like me and you're kind of like this hybrid approach where I talk about the science of things, but also the spirituality things. Or maybe you only like one or the other, and so you only like half of my content, and that's fine too. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope I wasn't rambling too much. I hope this was interesting. I guess, okay, so to just pull this all back together, what I was trying to say was, when the student is ready, the master appears. And I actually feel that way about each and every one of my coaching clients. Like when they're coaching with me and they are manifesting what they want, that's first of all, I think I'm one of their successful manifestations. They manifested me into their life. They manifested finding me and then choosing me, because something about me and how I approach things and how I explain things or how I talk to them, it just resonated as truth. It felt like home for them, and they trusted that I was going to somehow they intuitively knew that I was going to be able to support them to that successful manifestation. And I have oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with my clients' success stories and their manifestation stories. That's for another video or for other videos. But I feel like I am one of their successful manifestations. So everything that they manifest, that's not like a trophy on my wall or on my shelf. That's all them. When they were ready, I somehow showed up in their life and they said yes to it. And that allowed them to find those missing puzzle pieces, connect those dots, and receive ultimately those manifestations that they deeply desired. And so that's how this all kind of ties together. I guess this is just sort of, I'm just hoping this inspires you. I'm just hoping I'm just hoping it fans the flames of your deepest desires. I'm just hoping that if nothing else, you walk away from this video, if you actually watch this entire video, that you walk away from this video feeling like, okay, that's what I needed to fucking hear. Because that's exactly what happened when I had set my intention, and then randomly, but not randomly at all, totally my manifestation, where I discovered Neville Goddess. And then I found someone who looks exactly like me, who's my age, who's also a Virgo, who has long brown hair, who's got good eyebrows, who is talking about whatever the fuck she wants to talk about when it comes to manifestation, and had an incredibly loving, attentive following. And I was just like, oh my God, yes. I needed to find her, because when I found her, I knew I was on the right path. I knew that everything was unfolding in perfect divine timing for me. It gave me that boost in confidence that I get to ignore all the people who say you need the fancy setup, you need the fancy equipment, you need to have a plan, you need to have videos that are only this amount of length. And you need to, in your first 3 seconds, you need to capture their attention with like an enticing hook and all that stuff, which is true for some people, but it's not ultimately the truth. The ultimate truth is I can show up here in my pajamas with no makeup on, literally roll out of bed, and I can share what message is coming through me for you, and it will do what it is supposed to do, and it will attract who it is supposed to attract. And this channel will grow as quickly as it is meant to grow, and it will all work out for my highest good in alignment with my deepest desires. Isn't that amazing? So I just had to share that. I hope it inspires you. And I hope you comment, and I hope you ask me questions, because that is when I am most in my element, is when I am responding. When someone asks me something and I can share my wisdom with you, that is literally, it is so win-win. It is so satisfying and fulfilling for me to do that for you, and you benefit from it. It is literally win-win. So I hope you subscribe. I hope you like the content that I put out. And if you do, please like it, because that means that more and more people will see it. When there's more subscribers, when there's more likes, when there's more comments, more people will see it. It will reach more and more people. It will grow, and it will just become a richer and richer environment of success and manifesting and passion and purpose and loving the fuck out of your life. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, like I always say, is to live and love your life on purpose. Talk to you later.